Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the John DeVito Show. I am live from my car right now, so if there's no intro music, that's why. And let's not forget, I'm a little bit of a boomer, Gen Xer to be honest, but I'm a little bit of a boomer. So for me, sitting in my car with the headphones on, I don't feel 100% confident. So bear with me as I work through my fear of earbuds and my iPhone when doing a show and not sitting in front of my microphone and my Rodecaster Pro. So anyway, hopefully everyone's doing great. I chose to do a show today because I'm sitting in my car. It is 5:30 in the afternoon, and I'm sitting in the rain in my car as my son has an hour and a half baseball practice today. So instead of driving home, I'm at one of those points where I'm so far away from home that if I drive home now, by the time I get there, I almost have to turn around and come back. So I decided to sit. I decided to stay. So I'm in my car doing a podcast with the AirPods in, no music, no sound effects. So we'll see how it goes. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So Ram Ooh Podcast, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Robert, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in. So yeah, this is kind of an impromptu show. I'm in my car with the earbuds on, and I just wanted to talk about, a few things, talk about some weekend plans, talk about some things that are going on in the country again right now, as always. And for us, it's been kind of a big week in my family where my kids went back to school. So for any of the parents out there that have kids, now we had our 4 kids home all summer, and it was a long summer. They were home, mid-June. We had them through basically earlier this week. So big week, though. Big week for us, where my oldest son, Matt, is literally leaving for college on Tuesday. And as a parent, I've got 4 kids. That is really hard on me. It's kind of like a heartbreaking thing where my son's leaving. I mean, I love my son. I've spent a lot of time with him since he was a baby. And I can't believe we're finally at the point where our kids are going to start leaving the nest and moving on and living their own lives. But we're also very proud of them. So anyway, my son, Matt, is leaving on Tuesday. My son, Ethan, started his freshman year of high school this past week. My daughter, Caitlin's a junior. And then our youngest guy, Brandon, is in 7th grade. Now, I wanted to talk about last weekend a little bit. This is kind of a funny story. Now, my son, Brandon, is a football player, okay? So he plays for the local, middle school program. It's a regional program where you've got some decent football players, and they play in a league against other teams, of their skill level. So we ended up playing this past Sunday at a jamboree. And if you've never been to a jamborees literally have hundreds of people, hundreds of players. I mean, they're just huge. There's like 6 or 7 games going on at once. And in this jamboree, we drew a local team called the Worcester Cowboys. Now, if you look this team up, they're a 7th grade team, okay? And I am not exaggerating when I tell you this. Their defensive line was bigger than my high school defensive line. Now, I am 6'4" and 275 pounds or so. And I went walking by a few members of the 7th grade team, this defensive line. One of the kids was probably an inch shorter than me and probably had me by 30 or 40 pounds. The kid was absolutely enormous. The whole team was just giant. They were huge. And I mean, they were literally all double the size of the kids on our team. There's one kid on our team that's pretty tall. He's probably, I don't know if I had to guess, maybe 5'7", 5'8", a pretty big kid for the 7th grade. He would not have been in the top 20 of these kids in as far as size goes. They were just gigantic, huge kids. So we literally went out and got the living crap kicked out of us. I mean, just beaten. Their 3 defensive linemen had to all be 250 pounds and above. And they had one kid on their team who was a receiver. He had to be like 5'10", lightning fast. The kids were calling him like Julio Jones from the NFL because he was that good. But we played this team and we got absolutely spanked. I mean, to give you an idea how good this team was, this team every year travels down to Florida and they play in the national tournament for football teams for this age group. Last year, they finished number 3 in the country. So we played this team, and we just got absolutely smoked. So we didn't know who we were going to be playing for our first real game of the season, and we just got the schedule today. And I'm curious to see how people feel about this. We got the schedule today where we are playing that same team again for our first game of the year. I mean, I literally think that if we play this team in a full 4-quarter game, we are probably going to lose 75-0. at least. It's going to be just a brutal game. So now we have parents that are kind of like speaking up, saying that, we should forfeit the game, that our kids shouldn't be playing against this team, and all that type of stuff. And I get the point. I mean, I was a guy that played football. I believe in kids being tough. I believe in kids not quitting. I believe in kids, going out and feeling like they can win no matter who they play against. But when you're playing against a team that's this big, when you have kids that can literally get injured, I mean, I'm kind of the camp where I feel like we should maybe forfeit this game and not play. So, I'm definitely a Gen Xer. I'm not a, quote unquote snowflake. But I think for the first time in my life, I am kind of erring on the side of caution. And I actually think that we should maybe forego actually playing in this game. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, for everybody out there, it's September 1st, rainy day here in New England. We've got the remnants of the hurricane kind of coming through right now. It's going to rain, I think, most of the afternoon today. Overnight, they're predicting another 3 to 5 inches of rain up here in Massachusetts. Father Brian, welcome to the show, brother. So we're getting a lot of rain right now, and it looks like it's going to be out of here by the middle of day tomorrow. And the good news is we're going away. We're heading up to New Hampshire. We're going up to Lake Winnipesaukee, which is a beautiful lake in the state of New Hampshire. It's the biggest lake in all of New England, and we're going to be going up there. Dude, no shit, Father. With Father Brian, we might need a boat to actually get there. It's going to be crazy. I mean, we have literally had the rainiest summer I ever remember in New England. I mean, it literally rained the whole month of July. It's rained a good portion of August right now, and we're starting off September with 3 to 5 inches of rain again, tonight and tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. But the good news is, for our weekend trip, we're going to be heading up to Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire. Hey, PBG, welcome to the show. And we're going to be enjoying some nice weather. It looks like once this storm gets out of here, we're going to have sunshine. We're going to have beautiful weather. We're going to get to enjoy the lake a little bit and have that one last hurrah before summer is on the way out. Now, I've got to ask the people coming in right now. This is kind of an impromptu show for me. I've got my AirPods in. I'm in front of my phone. Usually I've got my, my Rodecaster Pro in front of me and my microphone, so I'm a little uncomfortable broadcasting this way, but I'm doing the best I can as an older Gen Xer. But I'm just kind of wondering, for the people that are out there right now, September 1st today, are you excited for fall? And if you're excited for fall, what type of things do you look forward to? And welcome PBG number 3. For me, I do like fall, but I've always said, being in New England, where I live in Massachusetts, and we get a lot of snow in the wintertime here. I'm not a huge winter person. I'm not someone that loves snow. So for me, I do like fall, but I would prefer it if things went summer, fall, spring. Summer, fall, spring. We just skipped, right over winter. Lady Rebecca, welcome to the show. It's so good to see you. But so for me, I don't know. Yeah, Father Brian, I'm just not comfortable with it. So I figured I'd give it a shot today. And the reason why I'm on my phone today doing a show is my son has a baseball practice. So he's inside at this facility, and I've got an hour and a half to kill. So as opposed to driving back and forth, it's a half-hour ride home. By the time I get home, I sit for 15 minutes and I drive back. So, yeah, I love fall too. Fall is a great time of year. I'm a guy that, I love temperatures in the mid-70s. I love the changing of the leaves. I think it's absolutely beautiful. We're really fortunate to live in a place here in New England where we get a beautiful view of the leaves changing colors up in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. I love Halloween. I'm definitely a Halloween guy. I really get into that. But for me, once we get past, I guess, Thanksgiving, and then really once we get past Christmas, for me, January and February are absolutely brutal. We get like 7 hours of daylight. It's, sub-Arctic temperatures most of the time. And I'm a guy that, I prefer the heat. I prefer the warm weather. So I got to move down with like Mike in Tampa Bay or something like that. And I appreciate that, Father Brian. I know I haven't been on much at all. It's just been kind of a busy summer. We've got a lot going on. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, my oldest son, my boy with autism is moving out of the house on Tuesday for the first time. And he is leaving Tuesday. And I got to tell you, my wife and I are a mess. We're both a puddle. We're upset. I mean, we're happy for him, but we're also super sad that our oldest baby is moving out of the house. I mean, we're really proud. We're really happy for him, but I can't believe we finally got to the point in our lives where my kids are starting to leave. Being a father has been such a big part of my life. And to even think about my kids leaving, like literally almost puts me into tears. So it's hard. It really is. So I want to go up and talk about the Bar MEU podcast. No, being from Scotland, our seasons are winter, winter, summer, and winter. Oh my God. That's brutal, dude. I couldn't handle that. That must be really tough. And I think I told you this once. I'm not sure if I did it or not because I knew you were from Scotland. I did my ancestry DNA test and I found out that I am part Scottish. So welcome to the family. I am Scottish. That's why I always loved the movie Braveheart, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I always knew that I was part Irish. But apparently the DNA test told me that I am part Scottish. So isn't that kind of cool? I was really excited to figure that out and find that out, which I thought was pretty awesome. So, Lady Rebecca, yeah, I love it. Fall gives us a chance to take our walks and just enjoy the nice weather. You can't wait for Halloween. I'm the same way. I absolutely love the month of October. I love Halloween. I love, all the movies that come along. I'm a huge horror movie fan, and I love watching all the stupid slasher movies that come on TV through the whole month of October to the point where we have at our house a really, really, really good Halloween decoration set. I'll have to tell you about that. I get a comment. Freedom! I absolutely agree. I love that movie. That is like literally my favorite movie. Freedom! Mel Gibson in that movie. So, but anyway, if you haven't seen videos, I've posted videos on my Instagram and on I think on my Facebook page as well, where we have like these animatronic figures that we put out for Halloween. Hey, dude, Sean, how are you? So we have like a full life-sized Jason Voorhees. He's about, I don't know, 6'4". He's as tall as I am. We've got a Freddy Krueger, and then we also have a Michael Myers, which is absolutely my favorite. So these are full moving animatronic things that when people walk up into our deck, they all start moving. Like Jason does the, kill, kill, kill. And you've got Michael Myers, the music starts playing when you walk up near him. And, with Jason, his sword like swings back and forth. And then we also have the Freddy Krueger, and he's got like the knives for fingers. And he actually says some pretty rude things, which is kind of funny. You got little kids coming up on Halloween trick-or-treating, and he's like asking them, did you have a wet dream? And I'm kind of like, yeah, nothing. He didn't say anything. Leave that alone. But we go out, we put out fog machines. We put out, strobe lights. And we have like a pretty good display that people come from the town just to come to our house and trick or treat. So yeah, I'm a guy that loves Halloween, I love scary movies, but like I said, for me, fall's great. I just wish we didn't have winter. Follow it up because here in New England, I mean, I don't know if other people are here from warmer climates, but man, I love the summer. I love summer. I'm a guy that loves going to the beach. I love going to the lakes. I love driving with the top down. I love wearing shorts. And then all of a sudden, when you have to start putting the layers on and that type of thing, I don't know. I don't love that. So anyway, I'm going to try to embrace it in my old age. I did try to embrace winter the last couple of years. And I don't know if I told you guys my winter story from last year, but I agree, dude. Sean, dude, you're absolutely on. Summertime is just the best. I love it. My favorite time of the year. I would say that probably fall is my maybe maybe spring would be my third favorite, then winter. I mean, in spring we get a lot of rain up here also. Hey Sandra, welcome to the show. And for those of you in here, if you're new, please give me a follow. Please share my live. I'd really appreciate it. And feel free to make comments in the box. At some point I'm going to open up the call line if people want to call in. But I'll tell you my story about winter last year. Back in my 20s, I used to ski. Now, I wasn't a good skier. I didn't ski as a kid. I started skiing after college when I was probably, 23, 24, 25 years old, somewhere around there. Hey, Ash Brown, welcome to the show. So last year, I finally decided, all right, our kids are getting older. I haven't skied in like 15 years. And when I did start skiing in my 20s, I could go to like a decent sized mountain and get down like the intermediate trails pretty easily. So I wasn't great, but I wasn't bad. I was decent, good enough to get down the hill. So anyway, I said to my wife last year, I'm like, listen, we got to do something in the winter. Sitting in front of the TV for 4 months isn't good for us. Our younger boys have been snowboarding. Let's get some skis. Let's head out, hit the mountain this year. We'll get season passes for the local mountain. Now, we live near a little small mountain called Wachusett Mountain. We're in the Worcester Hills of Massachusetts, and it's not a bad little mountain. I mean, it's nothing like you'd find in, Colorado or New Hampshire, Maine, or Vermont, or any of those places, but it's a decent little mountain to ski on, a good place for kids and family. So we bought new skis, paid a goddamn fortune for the skis. Then we went and we bought season passes for my two kids and my wife and I, and those were, I think, like $350 a crack. So we spent, I don't know, probably $3,000 at least on skis and ski passes. So I'm like, all right, I was telling my kids, when I was younger, I wasn't bad. I'm looking forward to taking a few runs and then maybe heading up to the top with you once I get out there. Jay, baby, welcome. So I end up, first day I go, my kids are off snowboarding. I went way over to the left of the mountain. It was a little baby run. I mean, the thing was probably not more than a quarter of a mile long, not very steep. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to warm up on this. And then I'm going to head up and go to one of the bigger runs. I get on this run, and it was icy. And if anybody out here skis or snowboards, icing on the East Coast is miserable when you ski because you have edges on your ski and you literally just can't dig into the ice. So you like slide and slide and slide and you can go off the run. And it's pretty scary if you're not a good skier. So I start skiing down this run. And again, here is the old, 53-year-old me, not the young 23-year-old me on skis. And I was sliding all over the place. Couldn't keep my skis together. Literally by halfway down this ski run, I was breathing heavy. I was absolutely exhausted. I had to stop halfway down on this short little run that wasn't even steep, where I had like these little 4-year-old kids buzzing by me on their snowboards at like 50 miles an hour. And I had to sit there for like a good 10 minutes to catch my breath. I finally finished all the way down to the run. I got down to the bottom of the run. I walked off, sat in the chair, and at that point, I took my boots off, took my skis off, walked to my car, put them in the back, and I didn't ski once again for the rest of the year. That was my one run for last year at the little small Wachusett Mountain in Massachusetts. So, that's what happened to me last year. It was kind of funny. So, Agent Brian, how you doing? Welcome to the show. So, just chatting a little bit about, the seasons. Today's September 1st. We're getting into the fall season. We're starting to leave summer behind us. We do have some Labor Day weekend plans this weekend where we're heading up north, but it's going to be relatively cold, but at least it's not going to rain after we get done with this storm, that's happening right now. So, got a lot of things going on in the country right now. I'm sure you guys have seen all that. I'm not going to talk a ton about this stuff today, but I got to say, I have my kids back in school, and it's really hard for me to watch them go back into school with the mask mandates in place. I feel so bad for this younger generation of children that have to go to school all day with their faces covered, with their masks in place. They can't take them off. You can't see their expressions. And it's just brutal. I mean, I know Father Brian, if he's still here, I know he's about my age. And I know that you and I have talked about this before. I mean, this is a time in this country that I've never seen before in my life. I mean, I'm a little bit older guy. And Father Brian, you could say it, right? I mean, for you and I, man, we grew up in a time where we rode bikes without helmets. I mean, when I was a kid, there was no seatbelt law. I would literally sit in the front seat with my mother when I was 5 or 6 years old with no seatbelt on and just ride with my mother, right? It was a completely different world. I'm not saying that was even right. Like, I'm not saying that, the younger generations of millennials, Gen Z are wrong. I'm just saying we lived in a time where people did not take the precautions that they're taking today in society. And, I'm not even going to argue about the masks. I mean, I get it. We're in the middle of a pandemic. People are afraid. People don't want to die. People are afraid that, if they catch this disease, they could end up in the hospital and dead. And I get the real fear of that because I'm an older guy. I'm overweight. And I mean, if I get, COVID, it's probably not going to be a good thing for me. But, Father Brian, I mean, one of the things I think about quite a bit is I feel really bad for a whole generation of people and a whole generation of children that are growing up and they are being forced to be afraid all the time. I mean, one of the biggest things in my life is, fear to me is a horrible thing to have in life. Well, dude, I remember Father Brian, absolutely. I rode in the back of pickup trucks. We were riding around town. I remember one year when I was probably 14, 15 years old, my team won the Babe Ruth baseball championship up in New Hampshire. And we literally had a parade all around like the 4 towns where my school district was, where the coaches were driving us around in the back of pickup trucks. And we're waving at everybody, yelling, cheering. I mean, that was common back then, where people would literally, ride in the back of pickup trucks. Kids would be in cars without car seats. And we all survived. We all made it. And what makes me feel bad about today, and I guess, who knows? Maybe I'm a boomer. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm old. Maybe I just don't get it anymore. But when I see all these precautions, I do feel very badly that, like I mentioned, we have kids and adults who are living in fear. Like I've been searching, social media the last couple of days, like we all do, and I've seen different things. I know I'm Gen X, but I'm close. I was born 1968. I think the boomers were, the last year was 1965. So I always say I'm a borderline boomer. I'm a Gen Xer, but a borderline boomer. But when I see all these people that are living in fear, I feel bad. I feel bad for people. I'm seeing comments of people that are staying in their homes and they haven't left in like a year and a half or 2 years. I mean, they leave maybe to get groceries, maybe to go out and, you go for a walk or something to that effect, but they're literally not out living their lives in any way whatsoever. And I think we're imposing that same type of fear on the children. And I feel horrible. I really do. I mean, I think, fear is one of those things where it eats you alive. It makes you afraid. And fear paralyzes people. It prevents people from being able to go out and have a productive life and be happy and pursue their dreams and live this short amount of time that we have on this planet. So I don't know. I see all these things and they kind of get me down. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but they kind of bum me out a little bit when I see what I feel to be people who are just not being allowed to live for this long span of like 2 years now with this COVID deal. And I don't know. I mean, you look at everything that's going on. We got the Delta variant right now. There are going to be 10 other variants after this happens. So they're going to continue coming. And I think at some point we're going to have to, as a society, learn how to live with this thing. But yeah, Father Brian, I am border booming. No doubt about it, dude. I am old. I am decrepit. And I am border booming. Now, today, I went to the doctor for the first time since before the pandemic. So, hey, Bag and Patience, welcome to the show. You tuned in just in time to hear about my doctor's experience today. So I went to have a physical today at the doctor. Now, let me tell you a few things that happen when I go to the doctor, okay? So I go in today. I fucking hate going to the doctor. My wife's a doctor, but I hate the doctor. I hate going. So I went in today, and I went into a clinic where my wife used to work. So right away, of course, they know who I am. They're like, oh, you're Dr. DeVito's husband. Yes, I am. How are you? How is Dr. DeVito doing? So, whatever. And then I think they must have a note on my chart that my wife's a doctor with the same place, because I literally have like 5 people come over. Oh, hey, how you doing, Mr. DeVito? And I get like the red carpet treatment, I think, because of my wife. So whatever. Yes, Father Brian, I agree with you 100%. 100%. I don't think it's ever going away. And unless at some point people stand up against some of these mandates and lockdowns, they're never going to go away either. So anyway, I go into the doctor today. I walk in, I meet my new doctor. And actually, my new doctor had a student doctor working with her today. So this young kid comes in. He's probably like 24 years old. So he's looking through my charts and he goes, all right, Mr. DeVito, I see that you have taken Lexapro in the past. Are you still on that? I said, yes, I am. And he said, well, Mr. DeVito, we have this and that and this other drug. And then he gets to the last drug on the page and he kind of looks at me because he was like probably 21, 22 years old. He looks at me and goes, and I see that you were taking Cialis, Mr. DeVito. Are you still on that? And I felt like looking and saying, well, if I still want to fuck my wife, yes, I need to be on that. Because again, I'm no longer 24. I am now almost 54. And my friend needs a little help to get things going. So yes, I'm on the Cialis. Don't judge me, but I still want to fuck my wife. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So he kind of brought that in. He kind of embarrassingly asked me the question as to whether or not I'm taking that. And I felt like looking at him and saying, you know what, buddy? You're 23 years old. You're a young stud. You enjoy it while you can, because when you get a little bit older, you'll probably need one of those friggin' little blue pills also. Spanky with Beans, welcome to the show. I'm just talking about my little blue pills, my Cialis, that help my old 54-year-old dick stand up when I needed to. So you came in at the right time. You came in at the right time to hear about my personal life. So anyway, I'm at the doctor's office. This young guy asks me, this young doctor, are you still taking Cialis? I said, absolutely yes, I am. So we got past that. And then this young female doctor comes in. She's apparently my new doctor. And this girl had to be maybe 25 years old. So I'm sitting there like, motherfucker. So first I had this young guy have to ask me about my Cialis. And now I'm going to have this 25-year-old girl ask me if I can no longer get erections without the help of a pill. So, of course, she does ask me the same question. And, of course, I'm like, yes, I'm 54 years old. I need a little assistance. The little blue pill makes my pee-pee big. It's all good, right? So what the fuck? So I've got these young people asking me about my erections, and I talked about that. And then the funny thing that I also do, and Spanky, it's good to hear that I'm not alone on that. So I appreciate you sharing that with me. But but anyway, one of the things I always do is I hate getting on the fucking scale at the doctor. I mean, we probably have some skinny people in here, but if we have any people of generous proportions like I am, I fucking lie about my weight, all right? I get in and I will not step on the scale. I fucking refuse to. I refuse to step on it. And the woman stepped out of the room for like 5 minutes that was supposed to take my weight. And then she came back in. And at that point, I told her that when she was gone, I stepped on the scale. And this is actually what I weigh. So she took my word for it and wrote it down. But I'm sitting back thinking, there's no fucking way I'm going to tell you what I actually weigh. So I do lie about my weight to the doctor. And I'm not sure if that's defeating the purpose of a physical by deceiving my doctor. It may very well be. But one of the things that was a little scary today is I honestly thought I was going to the emergency room for a little bit. I got there, and I've got right now a lot of stress in my life. So, as a lot of you know, back in early January, my father-in-law passed away. Now, my father, he's an older guy, he's almost 81 years old, but he has advanced dementia. He's having a really hard time. So I'm driving an hour and a half up to New Hampshire to see him a couple of times a week to help him. We've got my oldest son's leaving for college. My daughter has been struggling with a couple things. My older boys, starting high school, getting older, job stress. This is a very busy time of the year for my job. So a lot of anxiety. And my doctor, when she came in, we started talking about one thing that's really been bothering me a lot. It's a huge thing in my life. It's related to someone I really love and really care about. And I started telling her all about what was going on. And I could feel myself getting upset. Like I really, was upset. And it was bothering me. And I almost had tears in my face as I was telling this story. And I can't tell you what it is because it's very personal. Maybe at some point I'll be able to share that. I don't mean to be one of those people like those Facebook assholes that say, oh, I'm really struggling today. And then when you ask them what's going on, well, I can't tell you. I don't mean to be like that. If this was about me only, I would share it, but I can't. But anyway, I was very upset. So all of a sudden then they decided to take my blood pressure, okay? Now, I'm not a guy that's ever had blood pressure issues. Like, my blood pressure is in the normal ranges. It's good. But I haven't been to the doctor in almost 2 years because of the pandemic. All of a sudden, the woman takes my blood pressure, and she goes, wow. I'm like, wow? And she goes, do you normally have this high of blood pressure? And I look at the cuff. Holy shit. My blood pressure was 190 over 110. So I didn't even really knew what that meant. But at that point, I'm like, geez, that's really high. My blood pressure is not normally there. So I Googled that after I left the doctor, and that was almost a sign of being in an emergency where you have to go in an ambulance to the hospital. So I could see why all of a sudden she was like, holy crap. She goes, that's really scary and dangerous. Are you okay? And she's asking me, do you have any chest pains? Do you have this? Do you feel bad? And I'm like, no. I feel okay. Nettie and Nate, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming in. I'm just talking about my physical today where I had a little bit of a scare. So, I'm in there and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, that's really high. So she's like, all right, listen, let's not panic. Let's go through your appointment and then we'll take your blood pressure later in the appointment to see if it comes down a little bit. If not, we're going to have to address it. So I was in there for, Jesus, it seemed like a half an hour. They took like 5 vials of blood out of my arm, the phlebotomist, doing all these tests on me and all kinds of stuff. And then they decided to take my blood pressure again, probably like 20 minutes later, and it had come down to like 147 over 110, which is still high, but not anywhere near the 190 that it had been earlier in the appointment. So I'll tell you, that was scary. I literally thought I was leaving the doctor's office in an ambulance to head to the hospital to get my heart checked out or whatever. So let's see, what was it after you pretended to race over and weigh yourself? It might have been. It might have been. That's probably what happened. The doctor probably looked at the weight in the chart and said, yeah, there's no way this fat fuck weighs that. I mean, look at his his blood pressure. I'm guessing he weighs this. So they probably add weight into it and guess. But you're right. I think that's what it was. The lying got me. You're right, Jay, baby. I lied and it got the best of me. So I shouldn't lie to my doctor. So now I was sent home after my 8 blood tests or whatever I had. I was sent home. And I have to now monitor my blood pressure twice a day. So I have to take it in the morning and then take it in the evening. And if I go back 2 weeks from now, they're going to have to talk to me about my blood pressure. So I don't know. You're right, dude. See, that's what I get for lying. My mother always told me when I was a kid, you never have anything to worry about if you tell them the truth. If you lie, it's going to come back to get you. And karma is a bitch. So anyway, that was my doctor's appointment today. We went through that. I fucking hate going to the doctor more than anything in the world, but I think I may have to be a little bit better about going to the doctor. I can't do it like every 2 or 3 years. I'm gonna at least be at the doctor like once a year, being now that I'm an old fuck anyway. So I don't know. But anyway, things here are good though. Life is good. We got football season starting up. Now, I know that we probably have some people in here that love sports, other ones that don't. We have some pricks like Doss from Vermont that luckily haven't stopped in yet today, but we all know what he's like. Oh, wait, he is here. Doss, welcome to the show. I love you. And you missed it, Doss. I just talked about me having my the Alignment of the Heart podcast has joined. I needed you a few minutes ago, brother. I was talking about my doctor's appointment where I was talking about my conversation with a 25-year-old female doctor about me needing Cialis, which was a kind of a embarrassing thing, and then my perceived high blood pressure issue that I had today. But anyway, now that Doss is here, Doss has a way of kind of chilling me out. Yeah, dude, you know how it goes, man. Well, you know what it is? I think I have 4 kids. And the old wet noodle, man, it looks and goes, what the fuck? Look at what your life is. You got 4 fucking teenagers. All they do is spend your money. There's nothing but drama and problems in your house. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my kids. But having 4 kids, I ask myself some days, what the fuck were you thinking? I mean, I was in my 20s, all right? I was young. I was single. I had a full fucking head of hair. Was lifting weights all the time. I was in great shape. I was banging some attractive women, life was good. I had no responsibilities. I spent my money. I was full of cum, as Jay Baby said, full of cum. So then you get married. And again, getting married isn't a bad thing. But then all of a sudden, you start having kids. And once you got 4 kids, I think at that point, too, the wife makes the decision where, you know what? I know where the problem is. I'm fucking this guy, and that's how I get children. And, I need to stop. So you're right. I think about the impending problems of having more children. I think of like the 4 children that I have. And of course, it doesn't help that we've got kids like right next door to us. So the last time my wife and I had sex, we were going at it. And again, this is a good story for Hump Day. So we were going at it. And we were trying to be quiet because, again, when you have sex with fucking 4 kids in the house, you can't be, hanging off the chandeliers or whatever. So we're doing the usual married person sex where we're just kind of like going at it and, trying to be quiet. And I thought we were pretty quiet. We got the shit done. We were both good, right? We were both feeling good. So I wake up the next morning, I get downstairs, drinking my coffee, good tasting coffee because I just got laid the night before. All was good, right? So my post-fuck coffee I'm drinking. And after I drink that coffee, my daughter comes downstairs and she sits down. No more than 5 minutes goes by and she goes, I heard you and Mom last night. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she goes, you know exactly what I mean. I heard you and Mom last night. And I look at her, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, oh, yeah, you do. I heard you and Mom last night. The headboard was hitting the wall. I could hear you and Mom. And I was like, well, I said, geez, I don't know what you're talking about. But normally, if we ever did things like that, Mom's pretty good about being quiet. So I can't imagine you would have heard her. And she goes, well, to be honest with you, I heard you more than I heard her. So there we go. If you want to talk about why I'm banging with a wet noodle, that right there is a reason why I'm banging with a wet noodle. Because not only do I have 4 fucking teenagers, I have bills coming out the ass, and then I've got my daughter saying, I heard you and Mom fucking last night. That's not exactly something that gets the old boy up and running. So for you young single kids out there, that's what you get to look forward to. That's what you get to look forward to. Eric Kirk, welcome, my friend. Doss, good to see you. Dude Sean, welcome back. PBG. Cujo Priscilla has joined, or whatever the hell your name is. Welcome to the show. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Hey, Eric, a little bit of an impromptu show today. I'm actually in my car. If I sound weird, my son's going to baseball practice and I'm sitting in the fucking rain in my car, and I've got about an hour and a half, so I figured I'd do a show. So let's see, giving it all you've got, and she hears out of shape old man, right? Exactly. You know what? I give my wife credit. When we have sex, I give her credit. I mean, she can be quiet even when she is taking the full 3 inches that I can give her. I mean, when that shit's hard, man, I'm, like I said, the last name is DeVito, 6'4", 275 pounds, but I do have a high percentage of Irishman in me. And I think, unfortunately, I am Irish from the waist down. So she takes the full 3 inches, and I don't know how she keeps quiet, when I'm in there for the full 10 seconds that I'm in there for. But, I give her credit for that. I mean, she does have a family. She does have a life. She has to think about offending the neighbors and things like that. But I don't know. And now that I'm on this subject, you know how I work, ADD, or going from subject to subject. I remember I was hanging out with these girls when I was young and single in my 20s. And we were at a house in like Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And we were just hanging out. We were friends, middle of the afternoon, chilling out. And there was a house across the street. And we're hanging out, watching TV. We go out in the front yard. And this house was a pretty good distance away from the house that we were in. So we're outside doing something. All of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, I heard it sounded like Whitney Houston in the middle of an orgasm, kind of going at it. And Cummings comes in as I'm saying that, so I'm sure that's piqued his interest. But I hear this girl screaming at the top of her lungs. I mean, moaning like you wouldn't fucking believe. And me and the two girls I'm with, we're looking, we're like, what the fuck is going on? Do we need to call the police? Is she being murdered? Is she enjoying this? I mean, I swear to God, you would have heard this girl. If you were in a stadium of like 50,000 people, you would have heard this girl moaning. She was fucking going to beat the fucking Guinness Book of World Records as far as like moaning. That's what I was thinking, Doss. It could have been a BBC. I don't know, dude. Okay. ADD. I'm going to move to that subject in a minute. Now, yeah, she was going at it with someone, man, that obviously was packing more than I pack, and he was fucking going at it. They call her Lassie. What was that? Porky's, right? One of my favorite movies of all time. That was the chick from Sex and the City. What the hell was her name? I can't think of it. Oh, my God. I fucking love that movie. That movie is so goddamn funny. But anyway, Doss mentioned she was maybe fucking a black man. Let me tell you this, boys. For those of you that don't have experience, I played football in college, as a lot of you know, and I brag about that often. So, yes, I did. And I remember being in the locker room. Hey, Ralph Williams, welcome to the show, the true icon of Podbean. It's always a pleasure to have him come in. Thank you for coming in, brother. So, anyway, I'm in the football locker room in college, and the guy next to me was an offensive lineman. And I'll give you his first name. His real first name was Jerry. And Jerry was an old lineman. He was an African-American gentleman, about 6'4", 290 pounds, big dude. So I'm a freshman. This kid's a junior. So I walk in, first day in the football locker room. And, of course, my locker's next to this guy. So all of a sudden, Jerry drops the pants. Dude, out of his pants came Jeff Bezos' fucking rocket. This thing had to be, and I swear to fucking God, this thing had to be a foot long fucking hanging, and the thing was as thick as a fucking Coke can. The thing was huge. And I'm sitting there looking at this, and then I had to take my pants off next. And I'm like, dude, I will definitely admit to being a meat gazer. But dude, you could be blind and still see this thing. This thing was fucking immense. This thing honestly had to be a foot long, as thick as a Coke can. The thing was friggin' just absolutely ridiculous. And I remember then I had to take mine off. And you had to wonder if Jerry took a look over and felt kind of bad for me, because I had nothing going on compared to him, man. It was unbelievable. So I will say that there are a lot of stereotypes, and I think Doss brought this up. Do African-American gentlemen in general have bigger penises than white people? From my experience, from what I saw in my college football locker room, fuck yes, they do. All right? Fuck yes, they do. So that's kind of what I saw. And Lena's coming in, so I probably should clean this up now that I'm talking about penis size. But did I throw in a peanut? Dude, seriously, it was like a fucking elephant trunk. It was literally like the biggest penis I've ever seen in person. And all I know is I could see what my luck would have been in college. I would have met the girl of my dreams. Beautiful, intelligent, amazing woman. And then all of a sudden, you meet her and you start talking about, your life. And man, I really think that you and I have something going. And she, she'd be coming back to me going, yeah, I recently broke up with a boyfriend and I did really love him. But we decided to break it up because it wasn't working. Who was your ex-boyfriend? Oh, it was Jerry from the football team. Do you know him? As soon as I hear that, I know I have to tap out because there's no way I could compete with that fucking elephant trunk that guy had strapped to his freaking waist, man. It was just crazy. Dude, I need to tie a board across my ass so I wouldn't fall in after being in there then. So that's what blowjobs are for. Oh, man. This show has gone definitely in a different direction than I anticipated, but I'm having a good time. So, hey, if anybody's in, if any of you guys want to call in, I've got some time to kill. I'm in my car right now. Let's see. We got Eric. Invite. You're in. Anybody else wants to call in? I'd love to have you. Let's just get in and have some fun. What's up, Eric? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I just got done eating dinner just a little bit ago, and then I can hear the rain hitting your car.
Oh, can you hear it? It's pouring. Yeah, it's totally pouring in my car right now. So I'm glad you guys.
I wonder if that's the remnants of Ida. The remnants
of the hurricane. Yeah, it's hit this today.
Hey, Mike.
This is culture. Cummings is culture. This is a sausage fest. It is. You're right. It is. And you know what's funny now? We were able to talk about large penises, and what would be great is to have Cummings call in and he could tell us about small penises because we know Cummings is kind of challenged a little bit in that area, So Eric, so Mike, how you doing, brother? How are things going?
I'm doing great here in Tampa Bay. How about you, DeVito?
Well, doing well. It's kind of rainy and shitty today with the hurricane hitting us. I mean, it's not really windy. It's just raining. But it's going to be a nice weekend. We're heading up to New Hampshire. Going to be hanging out at Lake Winnipesaukee up in New Hampshire. It's a beautiful lake up there. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Yeah, Winnipesaukee. It's a tough one.
Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah, it's
Winnipesaukee. Okay. Don't do it, John. Don't do it. Right, no.
Hold on. I got to talk. Now, you brought that up. So I can't let this
That's
go.
The kitchen sink running. I'm making coffee from after getting done eating dinner.
Nice. So Jen Psaki. All right, let's talk about her for a second. Now, I don't like anything that comes out of her mouth, but honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't mind putting something in her mouth. I'm just telling the truth. I think
she'd bite it and her head starts spinning.
She probably would. But, I mean, is there anybody else in here that thinks that Jen Psaki's kind of hot? I mean, come on. She is not a bad-looking woman. She may not.
It's the hair. It's the red hair.
It must be the red hair.
Freak. Mm-hmm. Yes, she's a freak, probably.
I see dude Sean talking about nice boobs. It's funny. Now, I'm a typical man where I usually look at the boobs and the ass. I don't think I've gotten past, like, the red hair in the face. I think it's the red hair that gets me. I think you're right. It's that whole ginger thing.
The red hair.
I don't know.
It's man, I bet she's a freak,
I wonder if she would be a drop-dead gorgeous stripper.
Oh, she might be. Did you see Cummings? Cummings said, the redder the head, the hotter the hole.
She's like a dominatrix, probably. Probably just throws you down and just stay there.
Coming in with the leather and the whips and all that stuff. And I'll tell you, I'm down with that as long as she hasn't put on the strap-on dildo. I'm not into that at all. I want to stay away from the strap-on. That's not for me.
Bye-bye.
I'm not going to judge anybody. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's an Audi for me. That's
Doss, she would peg you with Jerry's dick, probably, right? With an elephant trunk.
Oh man.
I don't know. I might be willing to accept it from Jen Psaki. But, the thing of it is, though, you know what she'd say, though? If Jen Psaki was talking dirty to you, it wouldn't be like, fuck me or any of that stuff. It would be, tell me you love Biden. Tell me you love Biden. Come on, right now. Tell me you love Biden. And I guess if she was good enough, I'd probably have to maybe admit it and say that I love Biden. But I have to come back and at least tell the truth at the end because I can't stand the fucking guy. But I don't know. I find her hot. And the last one, too. What was her name? Kaylee McInerney. She was pretty hot also. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Kaylee.
Now, Eric, let me ask you a question. We were talking about large penises earlier. And if you don't mind me asking, if you don't want to answer, that's okay. But have you ever dated a black man?
No, I haven't.
No? So you pretty much prefer white men, or is that just you just haven't dated anyone of that race?
It would be kind of a preference. Hispanic, maybe. Don't know about Asian or Pacific Islander, but I tend to kind of, as a personal preference, stick with my nationality, race, ethnicity.
Yeah, stick with people. Yeah, for me, back when I was
something younger, I'm more comfortable with.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I'm the same way. I mean, I dated when I was younger a couple of African American girls. One was absolutely beautiful, really nice girl. We dated for a bit. I did date an Asian girl for a little bit as well. Same thing, really, really pretty. But yeah, for whatever reason, it seems like I have a certain type. Like every serious girlfriend I've ever had is literally been like 5 feet tall or 5'1" and small with blonde hair. I mean, literally my high school girlfriend, my serious college girlfriend, and my wife are all the same. So that's apparently my type. Is the one I like, I guess. I don't know. But Marie, welcome to the show. And just beware, someone made the comment a little while ago, Marie, that this is a sausage party. So be careful. You are coming into maybe dangerous ground.
There's a lady in the room.
And there's a lady in the room. And as that lady comes in the room, Cummings blesses her presence with the comment, Mexicans have weird shaped boobs.
Hey, John, I dated.
Why? I don't understand.
I dated a girl from Trinidad. I mean, her mom was like straight from there, but she was more, I guess, more Americanized, I guess. And she just, I guess, was a very passionate woman. And she was just, I dated her for like 6 months. It just didn't work out. But boy, the moms from Trinidad, man, they are strict. You do not want to mess with them. They're
really just what, super strict or what?
Yeah. She's just very blunt and just would. If you said something wrong, she'd probably backhand you, kind of thing. I don't know.
That's weird. I remember when I mean, parents have to be strict. I mean, especially if you're a parent of a daughter. I mean, face it. I mean, for me as a dad, I mean, you pretty much know any teenage boy or 20-something-year-old boy or even older. I mean, pretty much we all want the same thing, right? We all want to have sex with who we date. And I mean, parents aren't stupid; they know that. And guys, when they're younger, of course,
how do you control yourself?
How do I? Like, how do men in general?
You're no, I mean, if you see your daughter go on a date, I just hope that I'm at a point where I'm not get those I don't know. It's like I want if you did anything to my daughter, I don't know if I'd be able to control myself because I don't know. I'm gonna be serious. I probably would kill him, bury him, and not tell anybody. I mean, if you hurt my daughter, kind of thing. But it's just
no. I hear that 100%. I mean, for me, I am a father that I obviously, like every father, I care about my kids. I try to be protective of my kids, and it is very true. If I feel that someone is going to hurt my kids or they've hurt my kids, for me, I don't take that well. And it's one of those things where, especially when you have kids that are young and you have other kids that are being mean to them, that's one thing. But then when you have a parent that gets involved, and sometimes this does happen, where parents will get involved and they will participate in bullying your child. At that point, for me, it's guns blazing. I'm not fucking around with that. If you have two kids that are bullying, that's one thing. But we had a scenario where one of my children was being bullied, and we had on the side, the mother was also bullying my daughter. And my daughter at that point, Caitlin, and it was horrible. They were supposed to be friends, and when two girls are having a difference, that's one thing. But then all of a sudden, when you get a 45-year-old woman coming in, and she starts bullying and manipulating and treating your child like shit, at that point, for me, gloves are off.
Yeah, that's where the parent is the kid's friend mostly because she's trying to defend her and not letting her be herself. And that's just the adults should know better than that than to get involved unless it's physical.
No, they absolutely should. They absolutely should. Hey, Cummings, how are you, brother? I saw that you called in. What's going on?
Nothing. I'm just over here happy.
Why are you happy?
Let's see. I've made it 36 hours without a cigarette.
Oh, good for you. So you're a smoker. I didn't know that. So 36 hours. That's a nice accomplishment.
Yeah, I made it 36 hours.
Wow. So what are you doing to beat the urges?
Candy, like Jolly Ranchers, gum.
Nice.
I wound up getting some vitamin C gummies at Walmart today.
Nice.
And my dinner, of course, was Longhorn Steakhouse.
Oh, I love Longhorn Steakhouse. That's good food.
I got the Renegade sirloin, but should I have gotten that or should I have gotten the Flo's filet?
Oh, I don't like that.
Eric, you and food, man. You got to stop that shit, man. Making me hungry every damn time.
Oh, man.
I have ice cream in the freezer, and I know Mike gives me shit about that all the time.
You that damn sherbet ice cream. Always got to bring it up when I don't have any.
That's funny, man. So we got someone else calling in. Mason, how are you, man?
Mason, can you hear us?
I only see yes up
All
here.
right. If you called in accidentally, that's okay. Or if you want to talk, let us know when you're ready to jump in. Otherwise, we'll just kind of keep chatting and all that stuff. So, hey, Jeremy, did you have any fallout from the hurricane or nothing too bad?
Nothing too bad. I mean, the wind got up a little bit, but no.
That's good to
Uh,
hear. That's good.
Virginia, I seen today where Maryland and Virginia were having more problems with it than what we were.
Yeah, you sent me that text where it showed there were actually tornadoes in Maryland today, and we've got like the brunt of it coming through my area tonight and tomorrow. So hopefully we don't have any of that. But right now, I mean, we're getting a shitload of rain, but no wind at all right now. Nothing. But I'm sure that's going to probably change overnight because I think it's supposed to hit us full force overnight tonight. How about you, Mike and Eric?
Yes.
Did you guys, in Tampa and Georgia, did you guys have any
Yeah.
fallout from the storm?
Well, the only thing we're getting from it now is the actual tail of the storm. It's bringing up moisture from the Caribbean, and actually we have a plume of moisture that's from the heating of the day. It's created a lot of rainfall here in Tampa Bay, and should be for the next couple of days. Other than that,
All right.
Sunshine State.
Yeah. Nice. I know, man. You're living the dream. You're living where I want to be. And like I told you before, man, I love Tampa. I could see myself anywhere from Tampa down to like Fort Myers in that area. That's kind of my sweet spot of Florida. I just love it down there. It's beautiful.
It's
And
a good
actually, I don't know
spot,
if you knew.
especially for hurricanes.
Well, when my father-in-law passed away, we did inherit a place in North Fort Myers. So we do have a place in Florida now. I don't know if we're going to keep it though, because it's in a retirement community and none of us can really use it. So we're probably going to end up selling that.
Well,
But at some point we will be in Florida,
Well, I think Dr. Cheryl will get some money from her father's estate then, like by getting that place sold.
Yeah, she did. She did. I mean, we were fortunate where both of our fathers, both of our families, neither one of them really had much growing up, but they were both, really good savers. So we're going to get a little something from the fathers. And what we'll try to do is we'll just try to pass it on to our kids, whatever we end up getting to hopefully help them out in life a little bit. I mean, that's really what it's all about for us anyway.
Well, I just sent a message to Crazy King that you're on if he decides he wants to drop by to see you so he can give us a hurricane update.
I stopped into another show. I can't remember what show it was, but I stopped in and Crazy King was on the panel.
And maybe Ziller.
Chatted a little bit. Yeah, that's what it was. And we chatted a little bit. He told me that he did okay. Did you hear anything about his experience with the hurricane? Did he have any damage in his house? I mean, what happened for him and his family?
I haven't heard an update from him since Monday when he was on the Slightly Serious show and on the Old Man show, I think, that morning. But hopefully him and his family made it through.
Yeah. Now, he's a really good guy, and I was worried about him all weekend. I mean, I've gotten to be, pretty friendly with him coming into my show, and he's a great kid, a great guy. And to hear that he was right in the path of that hurricane really scared me. And I certainly said some prayers for him and his family. I'm glad to hear everything turned out. I mean, I've never been through a hurricane that big, and that's scary to think of winds that are 160, 170 miles an hour. So I'm glad it all worked out well for him and his family, and, it appears everything's okay.
There's another one.
Play the sound effect. The Crazy King sound effect.
Yeah, I know. I got to do that.
We'd wait for him to come in.
There's another one coming?
Yeah, there's going to be a bigger one coming. It's Tropical Storm Larry right now. You can go ahead and look into it, but the way the atmosphere's set up and the way the thing's already spinning, it's going to be just as bad, if not worse, than Ida was.
No, I'm not a weather expert. Maybe some of you guys are. Maybe some of the people in the chat are. But I mean, do you think this is? I mean, again, you hear all the talk of climate change, and again, I might be more of a right wing, but I want a healthy planet like everybody else does. But I mean, do you think this is is fallout from climate change, or is this more of just maybe us being in a La Nina or El Nino pattern where these storms are just coming up and hitting us the right way? I mean, do you guys have any insight on that?
My weatherman, the most popular weatherman in Alabama says climate change. Well, he's one of the most popular in the nation, James Spann. You can look into him. He wrote an entire book about it. He says that climate change, you're full of crap if you believe in it.
That's right. Hurricanes, scientists have found that the hurricanes actually are when they're generated obviously by warmer waters, the deeper waters in the Atlantic and the Caribbean. But what they do for the Earth ultimately is they vent the heat from the warm ocean waters out into the upper troposphere, because when it brings up the water, the moisture from the ocean, it creates the storm, the spin, and it actually releases the heat that was generated through the sun's angle being the summertime in the northern hemisphere or wherever it's at. it actually vents the heat from the Earth. It's a natural vent that it releases out into space. It's kind of cool.
Wow, dude, you just impressed me. I mean, you're obviously a pretty intelligent guy. I mean, I think probably 60% of that went over my head
Channel.
because well, as you know, I'm not very
well,
bright,
just
so I'm
yeah, stick, like it goes down a quarter of a mile. You know, some of the ocean currents, like you got the Gulf Stream that goes off along the east coast of Florida. But yeah, in the summertime months here in the northern hemisphere, the waters are warmer, and the Earth. The storms form as a result of the warm water and the airflow, and it creates the spin, the low pressure. And what it does when it gets an eye, or it becomes strong enough, it actually the height of the storm is so high. It's in the troposphere, which is on the edge of space. It's like the last layer of our atmosphere. It actually it releases the heat out of the storm, and it's pretty cool, to be honest.
I'm sorry. I'm not
Nerdy,
laughing at you. No, I'm not laughing at you. Let me explain why I'm. No, this is why I'm laughing. I'm sitting in a parking lot. My son is off to the left in this building playing baseball, and directly across from me, there's a dog park. There are literally two women in this dog park with their dogs. It's fucking pouring. The one woman right now has her yellow boots, has her umbrella. The two dogs are playing together. There's a big dog and a smaller dog. All of a sudden, the one big dog just hopped up on the back of the other dog and started humping the hell out of it. And the two women were chatting away. And then I see the two women notice that the dogs were humping. And then they pull them off. It's like, don't let them finish. So that's why I started laughing. I see them notice that the dogs were humping, and then they stopped it in mid-hump. So it was just,
then they both look at you.
Kind of copy funny.
And they have white T-shirts on, and they start making out. Yeah.
Ooh. Unfortunately, no. Big red jacket. And now, all right, let me ask a question to all you guys in here, the people that are still here listening to the show. Now, how many dog owners do we have? Eric, do you want a dog? Cummings, Mike, are you guys dog owners or no?
I haven't owned a dog since 2018.
All right, so
you're a dog owner, Cummings?
Yeah, I got two.
All right.
Mike?
I had.
Yeah, okay, you had. When you guys took your dogs for walks on the leash, would you actually bring a little plastic baggie with you and pick up the shit, or would you just look the other way and pretend that you didn't see it when your dog took a shit?
Well, when I lived in my old house in my old neighborhood, the county would never enforce any kind of regulation there, so I never bothered to bring a plastic bag with me to pick up after them, But when I stayed with my brother for a couple months and they had a bigger dog that I would walk around the neighborhood, I would, because I think they were living in a different county that with a property owners association that would enforce it.
I never did, but my dog always shit in my neighbor's yard, so I didn't really. He wouldn't shit anyway. I can go walk to BFE, but he would only crap in my neighbor's yard. It was. I don't know. And it blended in eventually. His grass was great in that area, but I don't know.
I would be mindful with the dogs that I used to walk around the neighborhood, like where they did go to the bathroom and where they didn't. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, see, I'm one of those people where I go for a walk with my dog or my dogs, and I will not bring a bag. I'm a selfish prick. I don't bring a bag. And I will do the whole, once I see my dog starting to squat, I will try to get him to go on the road as opposed to in the grass of someone's yard. But I will do the very slow walk, like I'm looking off into the distance or looking at somebody else's home, or just not looking at what my dog's doing and pretending that I don't see my dog actually taking a shit on this person's property. So once my dog is done.
This start?
Go ahead.
This whole bag thing, why? When did this whole bag picking up dog shit start?
I think
what did we do prior to this? What did we do prior to dog shitting? I mean, did we,
I remember one of those commercial or PSAs that you would see on TV about, keeping water from getting contaminated, that they say pick up after your pet, and if you're going to wash your car, wash it on the lawn as opposed to washing it in the driveway or on the road.
That's the thing, when I was a kid, when a dog took a
for
shit,
clean water,
you would leave the shit where the dog took his shit. You would not stop and pick up the shit and carry it along with you for the rest of your fucking walk. And that's, for me, I don't know. I mean, I guess, again, generation thing. Now we have to walk around picking up our dog's shit. You know what? If my dog takes a shit, or back in the day, if a dog took a shit in my yard and I stepped in the shit, fuck it, I stepped in the shit. It is what it is. You step in dog shit. That's part of life. But not today. You're gonna walk around. You're gonna pick up after your dog. I guess I'm just a selfish asshole, but I do pretend that I don't see it. And then when my dog takes its shit, I leave that fucking shit wherever it is. So that's
I
what
would
I do.
too.
I am
to be
that
honest,
guy, unfortunately.
Well, so am I, because it's dog shit and it's normal, it's natural. Sometimes you want to take a shit in your neighbor's yard, but you just don't do it. But I don't know.
Well, speaking of dog shit, Mr. A's here. So welcome, Mr. A, to the show. Good to see you. I'm glad you're into the show and haven't seen you in quite a while. So good to see you. Oh, look at that. What's up, good people? And John, plus Cummings too, I guess. No, Mr. A is a good friend.
You know if you have horses.
If you see him go in the what's that?
You know if you have horses and you accidentally step in horse shit, it means good luck.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I'm going to start telling people.
Good luck getting that off of your boots.
Not the most pleasant smell in the world either if you're up close to it.
Oh, and I'll tell you, Lewis, you're coming in at a very interesting time into the show, but I remember when I was a kid, we had an in-ground pool at my house in New Hampshire, and we had a big fucking German Shepherd. And I remember I had some friends over, we're running around the grass. All of a sudden, I stepped in this gigantic pile of dog shit. It was fresh. It was still warm. If it had been cold out, it would have been steaming. This motherfucking pile of dog shit went in between my toes. It was the most disgusting feeling I think I've ever experienced. I can still remember this happening to me. It went between my toes. It just squished. And because it was warm, I knew exactly what it was the moment I stepped in it. And I think that was kind of like a defining moment in my life of stepping in dog shit when I was a kid in bare feet. So just nasty. I don't know. So John smells like, I do. Mr. A, listen, you know me. I take a shower once a month, whether I need it or not. Once I start smelling myself distinctively, then I realize it's time maybe in the next week or two to take a shower. But there's no doubt about that. Freedom Seeker, welcome to the show. So, hey, we got a little bit of time. We've been talking about some funny shit. Do you guys want to dive into anything about what's going on right now? Because I got to tell you, real quick, I know that not everyone loves politics, but I feel like I have to touch on this. Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, literally, fuck both of you. We had 13 Marines or 13 military people that were killed in Afghanistan. Nancy Pelosi would not let anyone mention their names on the floor of the Senate. And you've got Joe Biden, who's up giving his speech, doing his victory circle after all of those Americans died, all of those Afghans died. This guy completely fucked up the entire withdrawal process of getting these people out of Afghanistan. How fucking hard was it to send a little bit more military in, secure the fucking area, get our people out of the country before you withdraw our military troops? And now you've got this cocksucker who I can't stand as our president, who doesn't give a shit that men, women, children, military personnel have been killed because of his incompetence. He's taking a fucking victory lap in his speech, like we saw last week. I mean, Mike, Cummings,
Austin,
Eric, how do you feel about it? Because I'm pissed.
I'm pissed too. I mean, Austin and Millie just play it down. They should know better, but I think they are the real ones that are maybe really making these decisions. I don't think it's Joe. Joe's a freaking bag of shit. It looks at his watch when they're coming off the plane and shit.
Well,
I mean, that's a transfer.
You might as well just call him
disgusting.
Dementia Joe, because unfortunately, the cognitive, impairments with him just seem to be so apparent that it's becoming harder and harder to ignore. And
I mean, how can he's owned? They're owned.
Absolutely. Yep.
Or
they got something
owned by the CCP.
What we're seeing in this country right now, and what we're seeing in this world, is something like I've never seen the likes of in my life. I mean, we are seeing worldwide control. You're seeing lockdowns in Australia where people cannot go away more than 5 miles away or 5 kilometers away from their house, or they're arrested. We're seeing still lockdowns in Canada, lockdowns across the globe. We're seeing kids still wearing fucking masks in this country. And I get it. I mean, COVID's scary. People have died. But when you look at the statistics, really, the last 18 months to 2 years have not been that atypical of a typical flu season in this country. I do think what we're seeing is the Great Reset. We've talked about that on the show in the past. I do think that this is a worldwide effort right now to change the way this world operates. And I think freedom, we are not going to see freedom in this life going forward like we've had in the past. And unless our people rise up and unite. And when I say unite, we need white people, black people, gay people, straight people, Canadians, Americans, Australians. We need to all band together and fight this, or we're going to be living in a world where we are all completely oppressed. And maybe we always have been, and we just didn't know. But now it's in our face, and people are just complying. I mean, I've made this comparison a few times in the past where you look at like the Holocaust, and people wonder, how did they get the Jewish people to walk into the ovens and walk onto the cars to go for their slaughter? I mean, look what's happening in our country right now. It's no different. Put your masks on. Don't leave your house. Do whatever we tell you, and people are complying. Yeah. People are complying. That's what happened there. Go ahead, guys. I'm ranting.
How do you beat it? Yeah, how do you beat up your enemy? How do you win in a fight, right? You win, let's say boxing, right? You weaken your opponent by hitting gut shots, rib shots. What you do is you weaken your opponent to a point where their ability to fight for themselves is gone. That primal instinct to resist is so beat down that you're pushed like cattle into the slaughter. And if we keep getting beat up like this, we're going to be weak, and we got to stand up.
John, did you hear what Bill Belichick said today?
I did not. What did he say?
He came out and they asked the question, since you're on this topic of vaccines, this is the first time any NFL personnel or anything has ever said anything about the vaccine. They asked, did Cam's vaccination status play into him being released? And he said no. And he said that you guys are playing that up more than it is. And then he goes on and he says, what you guys should be doing is going out there and getting the real numbers, where the numbers show you that there is a very high number of vaccinated players, personnel, and staff and coaches in the NFL that have COVID more than the unvaxxed people.
Yep. No, I don't know if you've seen what's going on with the Boston Red Sox right now, but the Boston Red Sox have 9 players who are positive with COVID. And I believe from what I've read, all of them are vaccinated. All of them are vaccinated. And again, though, what are we still talking about with COVID-19, with even this Delta variant? Okay, the Delta variant's contagious, but it's not as deadly. So again, if we're talking about a contagious form of the flu, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we masking everybody up? Why are we forcing these vaccinations on everybody if really we don't have anything that's any more dangerous than the seasonal flu? And what's going to happen, after we're done with the next 20 variants of COVID that are going to be coming down the pike? So then when you have regular flu seasons, does anyone here think these masks are ever going away? These masks, they told us in the beginning, this is the new normal. Get used to it. For the next 10, 15, 20 years, if we have bad flu seasons, if we have any type of virus, the fucking bird flu, whatever it may be, we at that point are going to be told to mask up. And if you don't mask up, you're selfish and you're killing other people. And, at some point, people have to decide, do you want to have a free life or do you want to be basically the bitch of the world governments? And I don't understand how people can sit back and comply and just not be willing to fight for their freedom. I don't get it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. But to me, I don't understand why people are complying the way that they are.
Well, I mean, the mask. I mean, when it comes to COVID-19 here, like, I'm not lying about it when it comes to my part. We've had, like, I was always one of those people. They don't work. They're full of shit. It doesn't work, And then our city school system imposed a mask mandate. And I'm just going to let you guess. Our city school system imposed a mask mandate. Our county school system did not. Our city school system has more students than the county school system. As a matter of fact, 1,400 more students. Guess which one's virtual right now and guess which one's not.
Yeah, you and I talked about that the other day. It seems like you've kind of had a little bit of a change of heart with the masks. And, there are days when I sit back and wonder, okay, maybe I'm just an asshole. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm an asshole. And maybe I'm completely wrong. I mean, it certainly wouldn't be the first time in my life where I've been wrong about something. But I just see this is so widespread. If you get past the masks of what's happening in this country, I mean, with Australia, why the fuck are they locked down? I saw a video of a girl on TikTok that she was more than 5 kilometers away from her house, and she literally had her video streaming on her dashboard. She got pulled over. The officer followed her from her house, tracked her more than 5 kilometers away from her house, pulled her over, and literally arrested her from being that distance away from her house in Australia. So, okay, let's say for argument's sake, the masks do work and they are helping. Of course, for the last 200 years of this country, we haven't worn masks, even with H1N1, with horrible flu seasons, and we've been able to survive as a population. But why the fuck are they locking down Ebola? People? Right. But why are they locking down people to that extent? I don't understand why it's happening,
We did wear them in the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. We did wear them then.
Now, how many people died in that pandemic?
Oh, millions.
But it wasn't politicized like the COVID is today.
Right. It's become such a political issue. I mean, it's just been incredible. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just frustrated. I'm not sure how the people in here feel about it. The people that are in the chat, whatever else. I don't see an end to this. And for me, I see children and people getting, anxious. They're getting depressed. People are rolling over and giving up in their lives. And is that any way to live your life? I mean, for me, I'd rather roll the dice and take a risk and go out and live my life than spend the next 20 years of my life living in fear,
I think that's what they're trying to do. I seen a person that was an immunologist, and she was 100% honest. And you may be able to ask your wife about this, John. She was 100% honest, and she told everybody. She said, "Well, the government can say we can all vaccinate, and this will all be over all they want to, and mask this and mask that." She said, if you go back to every disease, flu, whatever, she said, science tells you that we've got another year and a half of this.
Yep.
So, I mean, whether everybody's going out and getting vaccinated or not, eventually everybody on planet Earth is going to have COVID-19 at some point.
Yep.
At some point, it's going to infect everybody. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles is the way I feel about it. I don't think we should be locked down, but I think people should take precautions. I don't think that, everybody should just, but I don't know.
No, I agree. I mean, you know my situation. Myself, my wife, my 4 children, we all got vaccinated. I know a lot of people don't trust the vaccinations, and that's fine. You have that right to choose, in my opinion. You can choose whether or not you get your vaccination. That is up to you as an adult. And I also feel that in schools and things like that, while masks might benefit students, it might not. It should be up to the parents to decide whether or not their children have to mask up. And when you're forcing kids to mask up every day, I think it's creating another whole host of problems when there is some proof that maybe it makes a bit of a difference. But again, if you're afraid that your kid is going to get COVID and you feel like your kid should have a mask, then you put the mask on. If I'm not afraid of my child getting COVID, then I don't want to put the mask on. And, our kids are already vaccinated. We've done what we were supposed to do. And I don't see why they have to spend endless amount of times now wearing masks. I mean, I'm seeing in my area, they just canceled a fair near me, big fair with the carnival rides and all that called the Sterling Fair. The Board of Health in Sterling, Massachusetts, next town over from where I live, they canceled the Sterling Fair, which has been in existence for over 100 years. This is the second year in a row they've canceled because of concerns of coronavirus. This is an outdoor fair. It's an outdoor fair, and it's not a huge fair. So I don't understand why, at this point, we are actually now canceling outdoor events because of fear of the coronavirus. Hey, Saucy, welcome to the show. I mean, but to me, it just makes no sense. I don't get that. I mean, I guess I could understand why a lot of people are, wanting to wear the mask indoors again. I mean, I did today. When I went to the doctor, it was required for me to wear a mask in the building. And I have no problem wearing a mask in the doctor's office. I put it on today. Yeah. But I'll tell you right now, for me, the person, I will not wear a mask in a store again. I will not wear a mask unless it's for work or unless I'm traveling for work or if it has something to do with my children. Like if I have to go into my kid's school and they require me to wear a mask, then I'm going to do it. Other than that, I'm not doing it. I will not put one on again.
And that's just how I feel. Wondered?
What's that?
Why in the hell were we never wearing masks in hospitals to begin with?
You know what? I honestly agree with that. And Freedom, you're absolutely right. But no, I agree. For me, I hate going into the hospital. I hate going into the doctor. And I've always thought about that. When you walk into a doctor's office and you're in the waiting room, you get a bunch of sick people in there. I'll put a mask on there because I don't want to catch the flu and end up getting a stomach bug from somebody. So for me, I don't mind wearing it there. But I mean, I'm not going to continue to live in bubble wrap. I mean, we've been seeing this for the last 20 years where society wants our children to be inside, not riding their bikes around, not playing, just play your Xbox all day and comply. And now they want adults to do the same thing. Sit in your house. You know, we're protecting you from yourselves. And to me, I mean, that's no way to live. I mean, maybe we'll all live a couple years longer, but damn it, we're living in fear. We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. I mean, what the hell kind of living is that if we have no life? Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, to me, I can't do it. You know, I can't do it. Welcome, Cab.
Zach Direct. Oh my goodness. That's a tongue twister.
Cab D Zach Direct. Cab Dick. I don't know. I can't read it. So.
Well, hey, I think like a couple of points that I would probably get across is, you know, like I do like, you know, like the Zoom meetings on weekends, and one of the good friends, like Jim, you know, he had gotten a really bad case of like the COVID to the point that he had to have open heart surgery. And,
oh God,
you know, and he brought up, you know, and he lives in Massachusetts. So I would imagine at some point you would probably be interested in meeting him in person.
Yeah.
And I could really, because, you know, I can send you his email after the show is over.
Where does he live? Whereabouts does he live in Mass?
I know he's close to the Boston area, but I would have to look it up for you.
Right.
Which, you know, you'd probably be like, hi, hello, Jim. My name is John DeVito.
Yeah.
You know, we have a mutual friend named Eric. You know, I just, you know, he thought that you'd be interested in meeting me.
Oh yeah, no, I would absolutely meet him up. So send me the information. I'll reach out to him. We'll get together at some point. That'd be cool.
Because I'm sure you'd probably enjoy meeting him for like a cup of coffee and getting to know him as a friend.
Let's see. I see Cab down there saying, I like the wah. What's the wah? What's the wah? Help me. What does that mean? Anybody? I don't know.
I have no idea. But I know
fuck. One of my AirPods just fell out of my ear. That's why I hate doing friggin' podcasts on my phone. I have to open my door. It's raining on me. I'm reaching down, picking up my fucking AirPod. Now I got to put it back in my ear. There we go. Okay, I'm good now.
And then he brought up an interesting point that the reason that we're seeing these like variants is a lot of it may have to do with the vaccine distribution.
Spanky.
You know,
it's been a while since you're right.
And then maybe raising a relevant question of whether or not people who are perfectly healthy who are getting immunized, you know, truly even need it or not, when it's really intended for people with weak or compromised immune systems, you know, or underdeveloped immune systems.
Yeah, absolutely true.
You know, and I just had a phone call, you know, earlier today with a friend of mine that lives about 25 minutes away from me, and he is renting out a booth at an antique shop, and then the antique shop owner, you know, had caught COVID, and I think she'd went to the hospital, but they wound up sending her home with pneumonia. But last we checked, I mean, she's still alive, and hasn't suffered any complications or had to go back in the hospital. And the woman's like 73 years old with type 1 diabetes. And,
man.
You know, and
I get it. You're making fun of my Boston accent, Cab. I get it. I get what you're saying. That's okay. That's all right. I see. Wait, hold on. Spanky and Beans join my fan club. I feel honored because I'm sure everybody that's come in here has been into this show.
Mike's already in it, and Crazy Town is too.
Oh, they're fucking amazing show. They're really
and
fun.
Today is Crazy Town's birthday, by the way. So happy birthday to her. I guess if y'all see her around. I think she's 45 years old today.
Okay, good. So someone that's kind of close to my age, not quite my age.
Well, also. She's probably close to your wife's age for sure.
She is. Yeah, I married a younger woman. I'm not stupid, man. But now Spanky, I see. Spanky said, it's been a while since I got wet. And you're right, because, you know, when I go to my wife now, she looks at my massive 3-inch manhood. She looks and says, keep that shit away from me. So I try to keep it away from her. I think I figured out what I'm going to do. Since she's a doctor, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna put a fucking mask on, all right? And I'm gonna walk into the bedroom with my mask on, and we're gonna play Doctor Patient. I'm gonna be the patient saying that, I'm concerned I have COVID, but I'm wearing my mask and I'm trying to be a good American, and I'm gonna see if maybe I can get my wife to give me a physical and then fuck me, and we'll both wear our masks. So I think maybe we'll do that.
Oh my god!
Well, and then and another.
It says, "Oh look,
Yeah.
an extra belly button." That's Spanky's comment in the pen chat.
And I think another point. I think another point I would get across on the COVID is, the only way we know that we could catch COVID is like putting our hands on contaminated surfaces and rubbing it in our mouth, eyes, and nose, or having close contact with people. But there's probably that unanswered question. Like, could there be something being sprayed in the air that we're not seeing or feeling, or could our drinking water and food supply being contaminated and us not even know it? But I know that's probably a question that we may have a hard time getting answered.
Okay, I just started my car and I lost all audio, so apparently I can't do that. So I just tried to start my car and my AirPod shut off, so I missed everything you said. But listen, I hate to do this, but my kid's coming out now. He's going to be in the car, so I've got to end this show. And again, I've got no music this time since I'm in my car. Eric, why don't you run down the shows?
Mavericks Slacker 82 Alpha will be going live in about 8 minutes. So nice. I guess if you're interested in checking them out, I think Mike will be there, and maybe Q Bellin, and Jeremy knows he's invited to check that show out if it might be his cup of tea. And Slightly Serious and the Beans and Weenies are on later in prime time. And then we're going to try to do the trivia game tonight, and hopefully the Podbean stream via the web browser is going to cooperate for slightly, since last night kind of went to hell in a handbasket for us.
Oh boy.
The old man, he'll be back on tomorrow morning at his usual time, and I'm sure you might have a impromptu show or two like one day this week, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that, but Friday, John, this is what I wanted to tell you.
Yeah, what's up?
So I started a whole new deal that I'm gonna be doing. Because I want to talk about the sports stuff, but I can't do it on Cummings or Culture because, my God, it's all about politics.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to stream it to the YouTube channel. I created a YouTube channel called Cummins Sports Network just to have it.
Nice.
And so I'm naming the show Cummins in the Mornings. Coming in the morning.
I like that.
So Friday at 10:00 Central, I'm gonna do that over on that YouTube channel. This is gonna be a live stream, like a live show.
Nice.
So that's what I'm gonna do Friday.
That sounds good. I like the idea of that.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of that. So awesome. Good luck with that. Hopefully I can tune in and check it out. Go ahead, Eric.
And also be on the lookout for Dude Sean to do his impromptu shows, and hopefully Crazy Kane will probably have a show this weekend, but otherwise you'll probably see him on the Zillard show. And also be on the lookout for the Old Man's Music Show Friday night, and The Swap Doesn't Lie on Friday evening. And be on the lookout for Crazy Town's impromptu shows, and definitely wish her a happy birthday if you see her today. And also be on the lookout for Milk Dog, and be on the lookout for Frankie D and Trice Talk tomorrow night. And
don't forget that hot piece of ass, Mr. A. Don't forget that hot piece of ass, Mr. A. He's there now again. I always have to kind of mention him when he comes in.
Yep. And of course, shout out to Chuck and Billy's Not Your Cup of Tea and Lingalonga and the Art of Floundering podcast. But hopefully, besides getting a collaboration show set up between like the Beans and Weenie show and Chuck and Billy, hopefully we can get the Art of Floundering to collaborate with them as well. Because Will from the Art of Floundering podcast, if you're into satire like puppet shows, those puppet shows might be laugh out loud funny. And I guess if you thought Chuck and Billy were pretty raunchy, Will's puppet shows are pretty raunchy too.
Nice. I fucking love it.
And I think if you put together 3 raunchy comedy podcasts, you would probably have the comedy podcast of the century.
I literally, when I'm in those shows, I literally are almost on the verge of like pissing my pants. They're so fucking funny. The Weenies, Chuck and Billy, just fucking great shows. I haven't heard the other show, so I got to get my ass in there and check that out.
The Art of Floundering podcast, if you want to check it out and see what you think.
Hey, Cummings, don't make fun of gay people. You know that you and I are having a secret relationship. All right. And like I said many times, I wish I was gay because I wouldn't deal with women drama if I was gay. We could hang out, watch sports, and just fuck, But it doesn't do it for me, unfortunately.
They were on, I think, one day last week, Mr. A, or unless that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was. You texted me, Eric, and I went into the show. You told me they were on.
Well, I didn't know if Mr. A went in there or not, But I don't know whether Chuck and Billy are on Discord, but I know they're on Twitter, or unless Mr. A's got an email for him. But hopefully you and I can get in touch with Chuck to let him find out from him when he's coming on again.
I could actually text him. I have his phone number, so I could text him and ask him when he's coming on. I think he's
and be sure to let Chuck know that Mr. A asked about him too.
I will do that. I will do that. So, all right, everybody, I got my kid about to walk into my car. So again, no exit music since I'm on my phone, but I want to thank all of you for coming in. And, maybe this is what I need to do. I've been really busy, maybe bringing my phone with me in my car and having some more shows this way so I can at least get on a little bit and see everybody. So for everybody that came in, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. I love all of you except for Mr. A because he's a douchebag, but the rest of you are cool. And thank you very much.
All right, love you. God bless you. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Bye, guys. All right, take care now.